You could tell though that Shedeur Sanders hasn't learned how to step up into the pocket since the Rams debacle. And
Sanders rolling right, now coming back the other way, steps up, and he's got the first down.
This is why he has sat the entire year, people. He is no good. He is not prepared to play a game in the NFL. The only reason why he got us down to the 20 at the end of the game is because they was playing back and wasn't bringing the heat at him.
From the 35-yard line, Sanders on first down. Njoku is wide open. Instead, he goes deep to Fannin.
I hope this whole thing, Shedeur thing, is done. Done.
I'm going to say it like this. And we keep it real in the speakeasy. I apologize if I hurt your feelings. If you want somebody to lie to you, go watch another show. Shedeur did what backup quarterbacks do when they come into a football game. He struggled in a mighty way. Shedeur didn't come into this game and overly impress us.
That's your opinion? Mm-hmm. But he's a rookie. Tell me some rookie quarterbacks that do well in their first start. Now think about that. Now tell me some rookies that do well in their first start and they're not the starter. Mm-hmm. Tell me though. Yeah. So you can grade him as a backup. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna grade him as a rookie that is making his first start and he didn't even start the game. Let that sit in there. Pause.
Well, now tuned in to the Dark Times channel.
Remember, Shedeur comes in. They say it on the broadcast. Dillon's being evaluated for a concussion. Shedeur has his helmet on. Those first two passes, I got texts from people in the stadium saying it was like Jesus just rose. That's how loud the stadium erupted.
Loving life right now with Shedeur on the field.
And when Shedeur Sanders got his opportunity, when he got in there, he was making some things happen.
Now coming back the other way, steps up, and he's got the first down. Shedeur Sanders moving the chains for the Browns. The 35-yard line, Sanders on first down. Njoku is wide open. Instead, he goes deep to Fannin. Third down and 12. Sanders steps up. Nobody there. He'll just run it, and he runs.
And of course, Shedeur Sanders wasn't perfect.
It's different when it's different body types going out there, different way how people get out of routes. Like what I seen on the pick initially was I see his hips turn. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna be able to get out there. But at the same time, playing quarterback is extremely hard. So it's like I like knowing every detail about my receivers. I like knowing the small things, what they're good at, what they're not good at. It's like so many details that helps me play confident with those guys. And I know, we at the bottom right now. This performance, everything, it will never be like this. But I'm dedicated to being able to get those opportunities with those guys to have a relationship, I got a relationship with all the hungry dogs, though. We like clockwork out there, but you just gotta see everything a little bit more, like them come out routes, them do all different types.
Don't be discouraged from one drive or two drives. It's a good football team over there. So just trying to keep him keep his confidence high, and keep on chasing that standard which he set. And we're gonna continue to support him. He spoke after the game, and he wanted to pin it on himself and his performance, but we're not gonna allow him to do that. It's a team game, so we're all in this together.
He said he addressed the entire team in the locker room after the game.
Were you disappointed in his first start?
He's a rookie.
Or his first game action?
Yeah, he's a rookie, man. Like, he's a rookie.
But he's special.
Yeah, but Acho, this is his first game starting, though. Imagine when you was a rookie, your first game starting. I was super nervous, right? And then
he didn't even start for clarity.
Yeah, your debut game.
First game playing.
And he's not even starting this game. Yeah. So, like, I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
He comes into the game against the Ravens team that's in a gotta-have-it type situation.
And they desperate and all that.
In the second half
Come
against
on now.
Multiple All-Pros on the defense.
But this game really came down to a couple of plays.
What was he touted for? His accuracy. When you have a chance to make a play, you have to make it. You have to. Period. End of story. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care if we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. I don't care if we're talking about Dillon Gabriel. I don't care if we're talking about Joe freaking Burrow, okay? If you have a guy that wide open in the end zone, you have to make the play. Reps or not, you have to make the play.
And this is the throw he's talking about right here.
Sanders, pressure coming, spins away, keeps it alive, throwing to the end zone, and it's incomplete.
Now that's a throw that Shedeur Sanders can make. That's a throw that Shedeur Sanders will make. But a lot of people are making out to be that he was just throwing to a wide open receiver and he had all the time in the world to set his feet. And that couldn't be further from the truth. You got a 300-pound lineman coming down on you. That's better than making a turnover in that situation because it's 2nd and 5 and you still got 1 minute left in the game. And had Shedeur had a little more time to set his feet, no doubt about it, he would have made that throw. And then the final play that it came down to, throw of the game of any quarterback on that field. That was a perfectly placed back shoulder throw to a receiver that he's probably never thrown to before. And it was also a great play by the defense. But I will say this, had that been a Mike Evans or a Jamar Chase, they would have fought through that. They would have came back to the ball. They would have fought through that to try to make that play. And it either would have been a touchdown or pass interference. And so that's the difference that personnel makes.
Y'all know me. I'm not big on excuses. You either get it done or you don't. But having played this game, having been a guy that's been in the situation that Shedeur, that didn't get a whole lot of reps, and when you don't get a whole lot of reps, it's hard to have confidence going into a game. I can just imagine playing the quarterback position and having to go in a game when you've taken no reps. I've never thrown to Jerry Jeudy. The only thing I've thrown to Jerry Jeudy is pat and go in warming up. I've never thrown to these guys. The centers never had snapped me the ball.
And so if you weren't watching the game, the numbers really don't tell the full story on how Shedeur played. Because like she took some sacks, but we got to talk about why he took those sacks.
Do you know who led the country in college football last year? FBS in sacks taken.
It was Shedeur Sanders.
42. Do you know who led the country in sacks taken the year before, 2023?
Shedeur Sanders.
Took 52 sacks. Like, this is...
It's who he is.
It's who he is. It's not... I don't think it's suddenly going to get better, even with reps, even with more time. You're talking about a project in terms of getting this guy to play in a way where he's not making negative plays.
I don't care if you have Tom Brady back there. I don't care if you have Mahomes back there. That's a sack for any quarterback all day, every day. Not only does Cleveland have one of the worst offensive lines, they also were without 2 of their starters yesterday because they got injured during the game. And so now he's playing with the league's worst offensive line, and then on top of that, they're injured. And like I said, it was very mysterious the way Dillon went out. All of a sudden, the offensive line gets injured, and then Dillon Gabriel just happens to go out with a concussion that nobody saw. And so now let's go ahead and throw Shedeur Sanders in there with this offensive line, with receivers that he's never thrown to. Of course, the media gets to pile on the next day. But I want to bring up Emmanuel Ocho real quick because he said something that I agree with, that I actually agree with. Every now and then he gets it right. And on this one, he hit the nail right on the head.
And let me tell him what nobody else might tell him. If you, as a 5th round pick, with the odds stacked against you, a head coach that's not leaning towards playing you, a lot of people who are rooting on your downfall, if you want to cut through Shedeur Sanders, you cannot afford to be average. Shady will give you grace. I will give you grace. Care Bear will give you grace. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to overcome all odds, you have to do the unthinkable and you have to do the impossible, which to some degree is going in with minimal reps with the ones and finding a way to succeed. Is it fair? No. Is it likely? No. Is it difficult? Absolutely. But do you have to find a way to do it nonetheless?
And so what Emmanuel Ocho said is exactly why Shedeur Sanders was taken in the 5th round. Because you put him in a position where he has to try to do the impossible. And then on top of that, to make matters worse, you keep throwing him in there, whether it's the last game in preseason or this moment right here where somehow, some way, he's playing with offensive linemen that are not even starters. And I don't think it's by coincidence.
Let me ask you a question, Ocho. You played with Tom Brady. Do you think Tom Brady would allow some receiver that he didn't throw to during the course of the week to be out there on the field with him on Sunday?
Because he wouldn't trust you.
Thank you. Neither would Peyton Manning, neither would John Elway. Because if there's a chance that you're going to get your ass in the game, you best believe John Elway was going to see you run a dig, an end cut, an over route, a slant, a comeback, a stop, a smoke, a shake. He's going to see you do it in practice. And guess what? When it comes time to one-on-one, guess what? He's going to say, hey, no, don't worry, hey, T, let him get up there. I want to see what he can do. I've been with you for 7 years. I've been with you for 8 years. But he's going to want to see what those guys can do, because if I got to go out there and battle with you on Sunday, I need to know I can trust you. I need to see some mannerisms. Hey, you tell him, bro, let me know when you're going to break out, bro. I got to know when you're going to break out. You just can't do that. To ask Shedeur to get in a game in which he has not taken any snap from the center, he hasn't thrown to Judy, he hasn't thrown to Hannon, he hasn't thrown to any of those guys, and expect him to work a miracle. We're not making excuses. But look, as time progresses, he getting more and more time, we'll be able to fairly grade him on his performance. But I think it's unfair to give him a grade. If I were to give him a grade, I would say incomplete. Incomplete.
Hey, listen. Hey, hold on.
We ask him to take a test. We ask him
without,
to take a test
without studying. Without studying.
And so, absolutely, if I had to give Shedeur Sanders a grade, it would be incomplete. To go into a game halfway through the game where you have a banged-up offensive line, you're throwing to receivers that you've never thrown to, you've never taken reps with the first team, you don't know what it is to take snaps from a center that you've never taken snaps before, you don't have specific plays for you, you're a rookie on top of that, playing against a divisional team that's hungry, that needs that game. And so under those circumstances, I thought he did okay. I thought he played with poise. But if I had to give him a grade, like Shannon Sharp said, I would give him an incomplete. But let me know how y'all feel about it. Let me know if y'all thought that he was judged a little bit harshly by the media, or let me know if you think it's accurate. You think he deserves what he gets. But those are my thoughts on it. Make sure you guys go ahead and chime in below. And as usual, peace and chaos.